Hello, Bellevue family. If you have not seen me before, I am Miss Vega, and I am the school counseling intern for Bellevue Elementary School this school year. And everyone who has seen me before and does who know I am, it is so wonderful to be in communication with you guys again. I hope that everybody has been staying safe and taking care of themselves while we've been away from school. I know that lately things have been very different, and not going to school every day can be a little strange. Even if it's fun to stay at home at first, not seeing your teachers and not seeing your classmates every day, it can feel a little weird when you're used to it. So, I wanted to share some skills that hopefully you guys will find really helpful while you have to be a student at home. This is going to be part 1 in a series of videos from me about how we can be responsible students while we're staying at home. Alright, so our topic for this video is going to be on emotional regulation. Now, what does that word regulation mean? Do you want to take a guess? Think about it for a second. I'll wait for you. Did you think about an answer? Well, regulation is kind of a fancy word to say control. So when we have emotional regulation, that means that we have control over our emotions. But before we talk about controlling our emotions, let's talk about identifying our emotions. One way to think about your emotions is to think about them like colors. So we're going to look at 4 different colors and talk about different emotions that can go into those different colors. Now I'm going to draw out the different zones of our emotions, and you can try it for yourself if you'd like to. Let's start with green. So green might mean that you're feeling cool as a cucumber. Maybe you feel calm, maybe you feel happy, maybe you're ready to learn, right? That would be green. Let's move over and talk about yellow. Yellow could mean that we're feeling really stressed or really anxious. Maybe we're really worried about something like an assignment, and we're not really ready to learn when we're at yellow. It's hard for us to focus. Blue could mean that we're feeling really sad, or maybe we're a little upset about something. Not really angry, but just upset. That would be blue. Then we move to red. Red would mean that we're angry, we're frustrated, we're upset about something, and we're absolutely not ready to learn because we can't focus. We're too angry. I'm too upset about something else. And maybe your face scrunches up like this. Those are all different colors that we can use to try and describe how we're feeling. So, now that we've talked about all the different colors that our emotions can be, I want you all to think about a time that you felt a really strong emotion. What color were you? What zone were you in? If you guys think about answers to those questions, I would love it if you asked your grown-ups, if you could share in the comments below, and we could have a conversation about what it felt like to be in those emotions, and maybe some things that you did to get you out of that zone and into another zone. Since we can't talk face to face, Ms. Vega is going to do some examples with you about some times that I felt some really strong emotions. And this is how we're going to choose the color. If you want, you can choose your color for your memory along with me, or you can think about it on your own, whichever works for you. So here, I have a color changing air freshener. So I'm going to close my eyes, and whatever color I see is going to be the emotion that I try to pull a memory for. Let's say in 3, 2, 1. Okay, it was blue, then it turned green, but it was blue first. Start with blue. So a time that I felt blue would be a time that I felt really sad or really upset about something. Okay, so Ms. Vega has an example that's pretty recent. So when Ms. Vega found out that we weren't going to be able to go back to school for the rest of the school year, I was feeling blue. I felt a little bit sad. I felt like I was going to miss all the friends that I made at school, right? I was sad I wouldn't be able to work with you guys in person anymore. I was sad that I wouldn't be able to see the inside of Bellevue again for a long time. Little things like that. So it doesn't have to be a big thing that happens that makes you feel sad, right? Anything could make us feel a little bit blue. So that is my example of a time that I felt blue. Please feel free to share an example of when you felt blue in the comments. I'll do one more example of me sharing a memory. So let's hold this up and let's count. 1, 2, 3. I got blue again, so we'll wait for it to change so I can share a new memory. Okay. That looked like it was green. So a time that I felt green. So green again would mean that I felt happy and I was ready to learn and my brain was in a great place to get new information. I think that one time that I would remember being happy is when we were at school and I saw the bucket of kindness shoutouts just full all the way to the top. That made me feel happy. I was excited. I was excited to read the kindness shoutouts to you guys in the morning and afternoon announcements. And that was a time that I felt really, really happy about something. So everybody might feel a different color in a different way. What might make one person feel green may make another person feel yellow or blue. Everybody's different. So that's why I would love to hear what you guys have to share about the different times that you felt those different emotions in those different zones. And now that we've shared some different times that we felt those different emotions, let's talk about how we can move from one zone into the other zone. I'll use the examples that I recently shared and talk about how I was able to move from those zones into a different zone. So let's start with the blue zone that I shared. I shared that I felt really sad when I found out that we weren't going to be able to go back to school. And maybe in your example, some of you shared a similar time of feeling blue. Maybe not being able to go to school made you feel blue because you weren't going to be able to see your friends anymore. And that was one reason that Miss Vega felt blue. I felt like I wasn't going to be able to see the people that I really love working with. So in order to go from the blue zone, let's say, to the yellow zone, where I was feeling still worried, but I wasn't as sad anymore, I went from the blue zone to the yellow zone by thinking of different ways that I could communicate with the people at school. So for example, I email or talk on the phone with Mrs. Harris if I feel like I really want to talk to her. I could also email different people in the school if I feel like I need to talk to them. So if that was about a personal friend that I had, I might be able to call them on the phone or ask if I can send them an email or maybe write them a letter. There are lots of ways that we can communicate with our friends without being face to face. So that's how I was able to move from the blue zone to the yellow, almost green zone. I found different ways to communicate with my friends. Another example of how to move from the yellow zone to the green zone could be to take a deep breath or do something that relaxes you. So when I'm in the yellow zone, it might mean that I'm scared or that I'm anxious or I'm stressed about something. And in order to make myself feel more relaxed and help me go to the green zone, I might take a deep breath. Or I might take a break from doing something that's really stressful. Or I might go do something fun that I really like to do to help me get back into the green zone. So again, those were ways that I was able to move from one zone to the next zone. If we were in class, I would love to ask you guys to tell me some different times that you were able to move from one zone to the next zone. But since we're not in class, I would love you to comment underneath and share with me and everyone else some different things that you've done to move from one zone to the next zone. And with that, that's the end of our first video. Congratulations to you guys for making it all the way to the end. My parting words for you today are that things have been very different lately, and we all might be experiencing a lot of different emotions. If we're able to identify our emotions, figure out what zone we're in, then maybe we can start looking at how to move from one zone to the next zone. And being able to identify and control our emotions is just one thing that we can do to be responsible students from home. You all take care, and I'll see you next time.